On February 15, 2003, the largest mass protest in history took place. 30 million people worldwide took to the streets in response to the then looming war on Iraq. 2/15, The Day the World Said No to War, is a book created by the New York design firm Hello to document this momentous event. Connie Koch is the creative force behind the project.
The vision was to really preserve this energy and kind of create something that would inspire people in the future to really participate in events like that, to be active, proactive in a way, speaking out about their own opinions. What I really like about this cover is like somebody's looking at you, and you can't really, you just see some red paint on a face and you can't really see what it actually says, but some people realized really only after some time that this red paint says no, hence the title, 2/15, The Day the World Said No to War. And then this, this sort of contrast between the cover and the first page where you have a huge crowd of people, this is actually from Chile, basically reduces this whole thing to the point of saying every individual matters.
The protest showed the frustration over the U.S. launching a war without UN approval. Countries around the world were divided, and the claims that Iraq possessed weapons of mass destruction hadn't been proved.
We were hopeful that so many people in the world, and so many of the world's governments, were saying no to the Bush administration, you can't go to war. And we actually think that the global movement, the demonstrations on February 15th, but all the activism expressed through that global movement actually slowed things down and perhaps even changed the character of the war. We don't think that the Bush administration was able to really carry out the full shock and awe campaign that they had planned.
What was equally significant is that public opinion polls in almost all countries, with the exception of 2 or 3, agreed with those demonstrators. So they were actually speaking for the general populations of their country.
The book features photographs from cities around the world, including Bombay, Tel Aviv, and even Ross Island, Antarctica.
In the beginning, we have an amazing shot from young girls from Baghdad demonstrating against the war, and it's just, I mean, the perspective also, you're basically face to face to the people who are about to be bombed.
To gather the images, a call for entries was put out over the internet. The response was overwhelming.
We received about 4,000 photographs total, and edited it down to 131, which was a painful process. And really, truly, lots of great photographs that we would have loved to include, but simply couldn't.
It was in the middle of February, and everyone was wearing t-shirts because it was such a nice day. So this was in the beginning. It was one of the first pictures I took. People just emailed their pictures. And it was all digital, of course, and via email and the internet, and I think that's just so good. This could never have happened a couple of years ago. I mean, in 1993, I think this would not have been possible.
It was symbolic of, or representation of, a truly massive grassroots global movement. And again, that's what the pictures in the book capture, because while it's called 2/15, of course there are photographs in there not only from that day, but from other protests around that whole period. And that's what a strong protest like that is all about. It's not about a single event, but one moment in the life of a movement.
I think that the peace movement has a terrible tendency to forget its own history. It's as if we go from event to event without any consciousness of what went before. So to have that record gathered in one place is, I think, very important for continuity.
Actually, this is maybe also a great photo to point out, because this is in the book, in fact. This is a moment that nobody had really noticed. It's actually the day where George Bush made the case for war at the UN, and the www.earth2bush.com organization rented a boat and had this banner, Earth to Bush, no Iraq War, attached to the boat, and they were just really going by the UN on the East River, and somebody was there at the right time and took this photograph. So it's one of these moments that it's just beautiful to have this in the book as a frozen moment of time.
The book also features quotes from such well-known figures as Arun Gandhi, Camille Paglia, Michael Moore, and an afterword by Noam Chomsky.
The quotes are trying to capture the mood of the day and of the movement in the different parts of the world. It was pretty difficult tracking a lot of these people down. Like someone like Chomsky was fairly easy because he teaches at MIT, and he was actually one of these people who I think responded within an hour. And I am still amazed because someone like him must get hundreds of emails a day. And he was actually kind of funny and, you know, brief, but kind of nice. And I had quite a big exchange with him back and forth.
There are a lot of quotes that actually comment very critically on the peace movement. So it's not only the rave, peace is everything, this is the only and right way to go. And that was important to us too, to not be naive or one-linerish about the subject matter. And so far I think it's just a tool for dialogue and conversation.
I was happy that at least somebody who has a slightly different perspective is going to be included, because a lot of these times these projects look to be monolithic. You know, everybody's of one mind. Look, I'm anti-war too, but I do believe that there are some things that are more important than being anti-war, and that is making sure that we don't have more wars or worse wars in the future.
It's not up to us to build an opinion or shape an opinion or influence people. For us, it's really important to select all these different notions about it and bring it into one format, and then, you know, have people pick it up and make up their own minds. This is really, at this point, the only sort of international, universal, quote-unquote, visual documentation of what went on a year ago. And I'm really happy that we kept it in this timeless spirit to really make it valuable for, you know, years to come.